This is one of the most fascinating things about being a lawyer for entrepreneurs or CEOs or whoever.
Lior Aviram, thank you for joining me on 20-Minute Leaders. How are you?
I'm well, considering these corona days, and pleasure to be with you, Mike.
Pleasure to be with you. I mean, I'm saying, I was about to say good morning, but it's actually your evening soon, even though the sun still seems to shine. You're in Israel right now, right?
Right, and the sun is setting right behind me.
That's wonderful. Lior, it's a privilege to have you. It's an honor to have you because your 25 years of experience in the legal field and within Shibolet and within HiTech. As a young entrepreneur coming into this journey, even though I do get exposed to venture capital quite a bit now, seeing the legal side of things and understanding the complexity of things that go into the life cycle of a startup, to M&As, to investments, it's something that's almost like a big black box to a lot of entrepreneurs, not just young entrepreneurs, I'm assuming. And what I'd love to do in this discussion is dumb it down for me. And I want to explore what are the things that I can be curious about, what are the things that I maybe shouldn't be curious about, and what are the biggest pitfalls that I can avoid as a young entrepreneur. But before that, Lior, I'd like to know who you are and take me a little bit through your journey of going into the HiTech already in the early 90s, as you mentioned before it was considered HiTech.
Right. So I started doing HiTech before there was an Israeli HiTech, just because, before in 1990, there were no venture capital in Israel. So I was lucky enough, just by coincidence, like all good things in life, or lucky enough to be among the lawyers that started to work with VCs early 90s. We actually needed to invent the subject in Israel. So what we did is took the books of the NVCA from California and kind of translated them into Hebrew, not in the linguistic sense, but in the legal sense. And it was quite an experience, because just, to then negotiate and explain to the other lawyers in Israel why you need preferred shares and all those issues that are just, that everyone knows that, but then it was like something like a revolution. You so heard the revolution.
It's literally pioneering a lot of these, formal definitions and communications between the different parties, and it must have been quite an experience. What made you go into that side of HiTech? So as you're getting exposed to these different things, you choose to concentrate on them. You choose to be a pioneer in this domain. Why do you do that?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy to answer. Israel pre-HiTech, it's like the COVID-19. Pre and post, nothing will be the same, but much more, okay? I hope much more than that. Israel pre-HiTech, in the legal sense, in the legal profession, was like something that was that's not going to change. The clients, the larger clients, where they are at that point. I was a young lawyer. There was no other field where you can, start with the smallest client ever, like 2 entrepreneurs, and turn into, within 2 years, to have a huge client, the largest in the firm. And this is exactly what happened to a few of our clients. So for me, it was easy. I was young enough those days to adapt to the change. So it was natural to stay where, it's low-hanging fruits in the legal profession at that time, which is the fruits nowadays are much higher. That I can assure you.
Yeah. So now let's say you're now looking at new opportunities, and let's say you have new founders I mean, I'm looking at myself. As I start a company, I don't have the funds to go and pay a lawyer and pay a legal firm in the caliber of Shibolet, yet I want to have the best caliber because I truly believe in my business and I truly believe of where I'm going and in my fundraising skills. So what adaptations are there for the tech scene that might be a little different than any other industry in terms of, partnering with a firm like Shibolet to work together? Is it the same as other industries or is it a little bit different?
Okay, so this is, I think that we started with the right foot in this sense. The fact that things move very fast in the high-tech scene allows us to basically do things that are unheard of in other fields of the legal industry. So we have programs of fees that are actually arranged for startupists. So if we believe in your startup, so we are actually in most cases the first investors in your startup. Right. If you are an entrepreneur, you come to the lawyer. Lawyer in many cases is just the first station that you park. And because this is the first advice, and it should be the first advice that you get, in order not to avoid from mistakes later on. At that time, you are the most vulnerable stage in your career. It's easy to make mistakes. It's difficult to recover because you are too weak at that point. So that's the reason that we are actually equipped to take over all the stuff of those startups that we believe in. So, and it's not easy actually. So we look at the team. It's not easy to filter. We use our best senses, and we do lots of mistakes because we are not a better investors than any other investor, and we all do 90% mistakes.
Sorry? How is your due diligence compared to that of venture capitalists?
We are not into the technology side at all. So we look at the people, we look at their background, we hear the story, and if we need, we take advice from friends that are more into the technology side, or we look or we talk with potential investors, and we hear from them. And sometimes we just we feel the personality. You need actually to try to locate the winners. That's the issue. It's people at that point. So we don't have all the tools in the world, but we have our experience, and in many cases we do it in teams. So I have a partner. He's coming to me. Look, I have this young startup. It's in the area of so and so, and they want to do this and this, and I'm not sure. So sometimes I meet with them again. Sometimes we talk. We do a little bit of due diligence about the team. That's it. That's what we have. We are doing the best with what we have at that point.
Wow. Okay, that's incredible. And what excites you most in this job? Is it more the early stage entrepreneurs? Is it the bigger clients that they grow to? Where are you on the spectrum?
Actually, all over. There is a lot of interest in partner, and I look at us as partners of the entrepreneurs. Right. That's what we are. We are with them in the trenches. We feel that the task. We are there. So with them, it's in the beginning. You feel you create something. You are a creator. You bring value, other value than what they have, which is a lot of experience and so forth. And they bring their innocence, which is very important for a startup. Right? So that's at that stage. But you know what? What's interesting in the tech area is that no matter mature is the technology company, they always at a struggle for life. They are struggling. So, and in many cases, the lawyer is the only friend, true friend of the CEO.
What does that
So-
mean? Because I'm imagining a company that a deal fell through. Maybe like a big customer is no longer a paying customer, or they're seeing they're having a hard time raising their Series A or so on. What do you mean that you are the only friend of the CEO, or that you're in there with the trenches? Because it's hard for me to imagine a legal firm being a friend of the CEO. It seems like it's not a friendship relationship. It's much more of a formal relationship.
Okay. Well, look, this is the difference in I think, at least in the way we do lawyering. There is an issue of chemistry with your lawyer.
Yeah.
You need to trust the lawyer, the advice that the lawyer gives you, and the fact, in many cases, look, if a client leaves, you can't do anything, right? You are a lawyer. But the question whether to go and do haircuts in salaries, or to do layoffs, for example. Any other person in the company has its own interest, right? You are not interested.
Right.
You are just there. You are his advisor. So this is a very unique position. And this is one of the most fascinating things about being a lawyer for entrepreneurs or CEOs or whoever,
Right.
That's the tech. In other industries, it's not like that. The pace is very different. Managements are thicker in many cases. With technology companies, even the CEO or the most experienced person, at least in the Israeli arena, has done, 3 M&As in his life.
Right.
I did 300. You see, so this is it's like that's a big difference, right?
Right. So I greatly enjoy. So first of all, it sounds to me that another key difference from what you're explaining than what a VC might have is in terms of the risk assessment. So the risk that you're taking on as a firm when you take on two entrepreneurs or two engineers from the Technion or whatever, it's a different risk than what a VC might take when they're making, they're 1 out of 6 investments. So a VC might make 6 investments a year, but you're able to, take 60 clients a year or perhaps even more. And so you're able to, you're seeing many more deals, and you're obviously seeing many more success and failure stories. And I have to ask then, if you're seeing so many of these deals, both the successes and failures, there must be some patterns that start, coming together again, whether it is, pitfalls in the early stage, pitfalls in the late stage, maybe common successes or common traits of an entrepreneur that are among all the successful ones. But what have you been observing in your years?
I think that there are endless factors, and that's reality, and it's very easy to fail. So there are like a million reasons to fail, and only if all the stars are aligned, and this is very rare, then you see a big success. But let's move from early stage. Early stage, when you are just the first team, it should be a coherent team. The team should be in most cases very clearly defined. There is a technology guy, there is a business guy. And they should actually be work well together in a sense that the qualities of one are making for the disadvantages of the other. And you can actually, if you are a little bit into people, you understand, and you see that. You see that the conversation flows and things work.
Yep.
And at that point, it's very important to clear each of the entrepreneurs, founders at that point. They are the founders, right? So their role to make sure that they understand, that they set expectations, and so forth. So and it's easy at that point to make a mistake, not to define things, work 3 months, and then 3 months or 6 months down the road, discover actually you are not aligned.
Like waterfall, yeah.
And yes, and one and goes away, and the other is staying there, doesn't have the rights to the technology. The other one is fighting for shares if there will be a company, and then everything is just lost. That's very easy.
Do you see a lot of preemptive conflicts in regards to shares, equity, salary, IP? Is there too much of that? Of, preemptive conflicts that are just, stalling and not letting the entrepreneur continue?
Too many. I'm not sure what is too many, but I can tell you that I would say that in about 25%, a quarter of the cases, that's the issue.
Wow.
Now let's add the first stage, or the next stage is the investors, the identity.
Yeah.
They're easy to make mistakes. You take on board the wrong guys, and all of a sudden, when you go to the next level of investors, you are stuck. They are making troubles. They make your life miserable.
Do you advise, or do you provide opinions on the term sheets that the entrepreneur receives in terms of the future of the company? So, for example, if I receive a term sheet for an investor in a seed that wants preferred stock and wants, a board seat and et cetera, do you sometimes come in and say, Michael, just be careful. I've seen this thing before, and I'm not happy with the way it's going to go in the next rounds?
Yes, sure. This is basic. We are trying first in the tech world, and this is the DNA that actually we try to convey to everyone on the team. There is no business issue or legal issue. Everything is relevant to us.
Yep.
So when I see a term sheet, I give my input to the entrepreneur, assuming that I'm the advisor of the entrepreneur, on everything. The identity, or the way the investor behaves, the way the term sheet, the terms of the term sheet, the future, what is reflected, if these are the terms that are asked by the investor, and so forth. So I'm trying to really be as meaningful as possible in this sense, and not give legal comments. Legal comments, every 5 years old lawyer can give.
Yep.
So my added value is not there.
Of course.
And we are trying to do even more than that. Look, we have a team which is business development for clients, because we all of a sudden, a couple of years ago discovered we sit on a mountain of information that can assist entrepreneurs and investors. And in most law firms, no one is doing anything with that.
Right.
So we have a team of 3 people that sit on that data and try to assist. So we try to give input really deeper than just the term sheet, even to add with additional investors and so forth.
Wow. It's one of the 300. It's one of the 300 M&As. It's okay. Lior, this is all incredible. Young entrepreneur, I'm going to start my own company soon. What are the things that I should be most concerned about or excited about as I start my journey? When is the first touch point that I need to make with a firm like Shibolet or some other legal firm? And what is what is the number one thing to keep in mind? Because this, as you're saying, this is not just, I'm not just asking for Shibolet to incorporate me. I'm asking for a partnership. I'm asking for them to come with me on this journey, and I want them to be in the trenches with me. So I better have good chemistry with them.
Right. So I think that the right point is at the first minute that you have, usually it's a team, right, of 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
So once the core team, the founders, to be the founders, agree that they have a good idea, that they are kind of determined to push through together, that is the right time to come to us.
Okay.
or to any other lawyer.
That's very so. So it's as soon as as you're agreeing that you're going to go into this 10-year journey, into this marathon, and you know that you're working together, then this is the right touch point. Okay.
Right.
Wonderful.
Any later, you may be like wasting time or doing a mistake that will be detrimental later on. So that's the reason that we are the first stop, actually.
Yep.
Before accountants or any other.
Realized that, yeah, because I, as far as I was concerned, today you can incorporate $500 in Delaware online, and you can start your journey, and you can start writing your product, and maybe when you go to that, to that pre-seed stage, and then you need to quickly, get a term sheet, and then you go and you quickly find the first legal firm that says hi to you, but you're saying, no, this is actually a long-term investment. This is a partnership with one of the most important partnerships you're going to have in the lifetime of your company. So thank you for teaching that. Lior, right before we leave, I want to thank you again for your generosity with your time and your inspiration and the 25 years of experience you bring with you. I think that's incredible, and I've learned so much, and I'm sure that anybody listening has learned so much. But I need 3 words that you would use to describe yourself.
Okay, so actually I will use I think 1 word. I'm multidisciplinary, and that's with respect to personality and kind of qualifications or talent. So that's I'm a round person.
I love it. Lior, toda rabba. It came out as an American, toda rabba. Toda rabba. I mean, every conversation is changing Hebrew and English. It's becoming impossible.
So I'll do the same. My pleasure.
There you go. All right, and hopefully we get to work together on a venture that I hope to create very soon.
We are very happy to, Michael. Take care. Enjoy it.
Bye-bye.